All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Um, Today I don't remember what I said I was going to do last week, but wanted to do a little bit of kind of my thoughts on this deck. I kind of did this it's like 2-3 weeks ago, something like that, just like kind of talking about Legacy without like actually experiencing much of it. But then this past weekend, and like last week's stream, the stream before that, I think, too. And then this past weekend, I played in the Legacy Showcase and as well as the Friday Challenge with this list or something like very close to this list. So I do feel like I have a little bit more reps behind me and some confidence in saying some of the things that I do like about this deck and where basically just kind of my thoughts on D&T, what we're building towards, what we're trying to beat, that sort of thing. So I wanted to kind of do a little debrief, especially since I'm going to kind of focus out of Legacy again because the Pro Tour is in 2.5 weeks, something like that. So I'll play Legacy tonight, definitely. I'll probably just still play Legacy next week because I just don't like thinking about Standard, especially on stream. But then the week after that, I'll probably just take off because that's the week of the PT. And then come back after that and kind of get back to a regular rhythm. But for now, what you see here is what my current list is. This is the list that I played in the Legacy Showcase. I had a pretty I would say actually a very disappointing finish in my mind because I started out 5-0 and then I ended at 5-4. Just about the worst possible maximum amount of matches played for basically zero prize. I was feeling really good at 5-0 as you often do, but just kind of a series of combination of some bad luck games and some very tight games that maybe I could have edged out with a little bit better play. But kind of wanted to just give my thoughts on the black white shell over the Overlord stuff specifically, because I know some people are like still playing red white, some people are trying black white and not liking like Felia Overlord specifically, stuff like that. There are also some people playing mono white, but most of those people just, I think, can't afford dual lands, which I certainly understand. But as always, up top, the thing that I'm always trying to do with D&T is build the deck that fights against the meta the best. That's always my priority over, like, playing my fun cards that I like. Stuff like that. And like I'm a huge fan of like a Johnny Bombardiers. It's very fun, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I'll just keep playing this because I enjoy it. If I see this and I'm like, all right, I think this deck's potentially like feeling better, I will generally kind of err towards the D&T deck that I find is the best. And I think right now this deck does feel really good. I guess additional caveat, I have not played red white a lot recently, mostly just because I don't have the time to try all these different D&T strategies. I probably will play some more red white to get a better feel. I will give my thoughts on black white compared to red white, especially because I don't think a lot has changed with regard to red white. There will be a couple things that I'll note, but red white probably looks very similar to what it did pre bans. Enough. So let's get started here. As far as the Felia Overlord package goes, I think it's just good. I am Felia's number one hater. I will be the first to admit that fully. I think that Felia is often an extremely like win more card and a card that like extracts no card advantage out of your opponent ever. You just play it and it dies to one of many interaction spells that your opponents may have. It's when your opponent isn't interacting, it's usually because they're a combo deck and your Felia is just way too slow to matter, stuff like that. Most of my thoughts on Felia were pre-Overlord of the Baelmerk, notably, when your options were, cast Stoneforge Mystic and attack and flicker, cast Recruiter of the Guard, attack flicker, cast Skyclave, attack flicker, and probably get blocked by the illusion token and die, stuff like that. The addition of Overlord of the Baelmerk obviously makes this card way, 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 way better. There is a little bit to be said about, like, you may just still want to play more Wisps. This is, like, carbon copy. I think this is Yoshiwada's exact 80-card main deck, and I've made some more sideboard changes as time has gone on. But there's a chance you want to play more Flicker Wisp. There are a couple matchups where you'd rather have Flicker Wisp in your deck than Felia's, but Felia does do a very good job, I think. very synergistic, especially with this suite of twos. Now that we're out of the the frog meta, where you kind of really wanted to play Spirit of the Labyrinth, you get Orcish Bowmasters now, a card that synergizes with Felia. This deck has been playing White Orchid Phantom, a card that I've been kind of low on, but have been higher on as like this kind of meta shapes out. Another two that's very synergistic with Felia. And then Stoneforge Mystic, Overlord of the Veilmark. We don't have any like Thalia's, Stoneforge's, or not Stoneforge, sorry. Thalia's, Spirit of the Labyrinths. I can't really think of another good example too that we've played, but you know. The increased density in cards that are good with Felia does make Felia better, because in other times when I was trying with Felia, testing Felia, you know, in mono white, in black white, without Overlord, stuff like that, there would be many cases where you just have like a Felia and a Spirit of the Labyrinth in play or whatever, and your Felia doesn't actually do anything. But the fact that you have all of this, and then all of this, and then kinda Fated Blade's pretty good with Felia. Solitude takes a little bit longer, but you have so many more cards that make Felia good. It feels kind of I feel kind of stupid trying to like pitch people on Felia, because everyone thinks that Felia is a good card except me. I'm mostly just kind of pitching myself on Felia, I guess. The modern players have already caught on. Modern players are all playing 4 Felia, 4 Overlord, and like 3-ish Flicker Wisp usually in this list. But notably, Modern and Legacy are very, very different formats, and your Felia is under a lot more attack. It's a lot less safe in Legacy than it is in Modern. 2 mana to hold up and then flash on your opponent's end step can be a really big commitment for your opponent to like try to react to. Oh, what if my opponent has Felia on this end step? But Legacy is the format of a lot of 0 to 1 mana interaction, which makes your Felia a lot less safe to just kind of jam in corner cases like that. That all is to say that I just think that Felia is good in this specific deck. Overlord of the Bailmark definitely brings this to the top in terms of like just going up and over whatever your opponent is doing. Felia just being like tiny, like eking out a little bit of value. Felia, play your Recruiter, attack, flicker your Recruiter. You get to like tutor 2 things. That's kind of good sometimes, but you have 4 power in play now. But when you flicker an Overlord of the Bailmark, you get a gigantic 5/5 and draw 2 cards, and then the Overlord of the Bailmark can attack and generate more value even if your opponent untaps and then kills your Felia. It's just a way to provide pressure as well as like kind of this inevitable card advantage stuff. It also just lets you kind of rebuy the same card over and over again. You don't really get exhausted out of your Solitudes in the matchups where you want to like create a Solitude machine gun like Eldrazi and Nadu and Moonstompy and stuff like that, even like Delver. I did write down all of my thoughts like vaguely 2 days ago as well, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I guess ultimately it's just that the black, if you're in the black splash, you're playing the black, you're playing, I think the opportunity cost of playing these cards is very low, because Overlord is just kind of an okay card to cast in a deck like D&T. You do already have synergies like Yorion and Flicker Wisp. You're playing a bunch of Felias that have a bunch of internal deck synergy. Casting your like Impulse with that Suspense your 5/5 can often be very good. There were a lot of games against Delver where you just fire off a Solitude pretty aggressively early, and then I cast an Overlord, rebuy the Solitude to kill a thing later, and then you're a control deck. 5 turns later, you get a 5/5. Your Delver opponent has a lot of really struggles to kill it, to answer it, and then you can just attack and get back your Solitudes forever now. Also, I don't know how many additional points I'm going to talk about before I get into like matchup breakdown and why I want to be playing black white or red white or anything. But like this mana curve just is a lot nicer. I'm always harping on like I want my mana curves to be leaner because D&T is such a slow deck. This deck also like cut moms. You just have like almost nothing you're ever putting into play on turn 1. But the fact that you just have a lot of 2-drops and like not a huge glut of 3s means that you're kind of double spelling on turn 4 a little bit more efficiently, especially like Overlord buyback Felia, cast Felia, or stuff like that. Double spelling in like kind of the mid game turns is really relevant for a deck that's like as slow as D&T, not isolated to just, casting one spell per turn and hoping that you can match pace with some really messed up things that people can be doing in Legacy. So I think ultimately, more so than this, as much as I am a huge fan of Thalia Overlord as a package, I'm also a huge fan of like Ajani Bombardiers as a package. I do think that these are both very powerful engine pieces for the respective D&T splashes. But the other thing is your one drop of choice would be the other thing to mention. Thoughtseize versus Red Elemental Blast. And I guess Magus Moon kind of fits into the Red Elemental Blast category. It's obviously not a one-drop interaction splash card, but it is kind of a more powerful tool in a variety of matchups than, say, you're always, if you have the opportunity, you're going to want to like cast Ajani into Bombardiers and get that engine going. You're always going to want to like cast Thalia into Overlord and like bury your opponent that way. But Thoughtseize and Red Elemental Blast are kind of these interaction points that are very cheap, help you in matchups that you generally struggle in. Things that I've reached for time and time again. Thoughtseize to beat some of the faster combo decks. Red Elemental Blast to beat Nadu recently, and Echo Vance deck stuff. Mismatched Bowmasters. Yeah, these are the Bowmasters that I actually bought when they came out. So they are mismatched. I have 2 of each. But this deck only plays 3 Bowmasters, so it just is 2-1 now. But yeah, usually when I pick up cards like day of, and I just pick up whatever version Goatbots gets in, whatever that day, I'll just never change them. I do think did I change the plows here? Yeah, I did, okay. I did buy new plows fairly recently, and I've been trying to like change all of my deck lists to have the Yargle plows. But anyway, I think Thoughtseize is very good right now. Across a lot of the decks in the meta. I do think Red Elemental Blast is pretty good, but I've made some sideboard adjustments for the Red Elemental Blast matchups a tiny bit. We'll get into that when I start. Let's just go and break down the matchups, I think, rather than talking about like the difference in Thoughtseize and Red, because we'll talk about the difference between the colors, talking about the different matchups that I expect and like that I often do see in these meta. Actually having the same art for cards, never? What do you mean never? I very often have the same art for cards. I have this one weird Marsh Flats, I guess. But like everything else matches. Number one priority, as usual, is going to be Delver. And I just play the worst version of every card? My god. Chat's full of haters, huh? No respect for promos. I didn't show off my my Thalia Dual Commander deck list, which I made all non-foil promos whenever possible, which is very fun. But I'll do that. I'll do that later. I'm gonna get distracted by chat. Anyway, public enemy number 1, as always, is Delver. I found playing this list that you did actually have a little bit of a weakness to Delver, in that when you're playing Red Splash, you have 4 Rebs as additional, like, very cheap 1-mana interaction, and, like, now that Delver's super aggressive again, Thoughtseize has felt worse. It's still, like, good if you cast it on turn 1, especially if you get to take, like, a 1-mana threat when you're on the play. Stuff like that, but I usually trim on Thoughtseize. Right now, my sideboard plans for the Delver matchup are like this: board out Cauldron, 2 copies of Thoughtseize, just because I really don't want to draw them that often in the matchup. You just want additional removal. And specifically, I put Paths in the sideboard because I did feel like the way Delver was beating me is that they had their very aggressive Delver starts, like DRC Bobble, turn 2 attack for 3, or whatever, turn 1 Delver attack for 3. Daze Force, Bolt, Wasteland you, and you never, just their classic Protect the Queen strategy had felt like it was working a little bit more against this deck than against Red-White because of the lack of cheap interaction. So I shaved some of the more expensive stuff to add some Path to Exiles to try to mitigate that a little bit. So I do think that the black cards, besides Thoughtseize, the black creatures are very good here. I mentioned up top how you can just cast Overlord on Suspend very often versus Delver. aggressively using stuff like Solitude, and it works out usually very well for you, just because Delver, you're a control deck that takes a long time to win versus Delver. Delver has very little answers to just a 5/5, so if you ever unsuspend your Overlord, oftentimes you can just beat them to death with it and draw a bunch of Solitudes late game. Bowmasters, obviously, also very nice. I kind of just always jam it on turn 2 into something with 1 toughness if I can, and it sometimes gets dazed, sometimes doesn't. White Orchid Phantom, notably, is also kind of nice versus the Delver deck. Something that we talked about way back in the day when MH3 spoilers were starting and we didn't know the hell that we were about to enter. White Orchid Phantom has a lot of good text versus Delver. Unfortunately, the current popular list, which is like blue-red, light-green splash for Questing Druid, does usually have 1 basic island, but the second copy starts Stone Raining them, and also notably, if you White Orchid and then Formal Wear it back, you create a 4/4 flying First Strike Vigilance that also Stone Rains them, and then you have a 4/4 flying First Striker, which just blocks DRCs and Delvers for the rest of the game, basically. Which is a very powerful way to just kind of brick wall their aggression. So it's a card that feels a lot better than casting like Athalia or Spirit, cards that they can largely ignore often. Having a higher density of 2-drops that like are actually pretty threatening to them, or they have to get it out of the way at least, has felt pretty good. All that being said, I guess over on the Red Splash side, I should have an example Red Splash list, but I don't really have one on hand. How old is this? How old is this list? Can I flip-flop between these two as I'm talking? This list is like kind of fine. I'd probably add the 4th blast back in right now, but close enough. The issue with the Red Splash list in this matchup, I'd probably also cut this GT, but getting ahead of myself. A Johnny specifically is a lot weaker than it had been in the past. Now that Delver's back to a bunch of flyers and lightning bolts. A Johnny doesn't really do anything, it clogs up the ground, but there's no ground to be clogged up because everything flies, so it is kind of, like I was talking about White Orchid Phantom being a pretty good 2-drop in the Delver matchup, but Johnny's not a very good 2-drop in the Delver matchup because they can ignore it a lot of the time. And then if you try to flip it with your Bombardiers, then they can take action, or they can just, bolt the Bombardiers. Your Johnny continues to do nothing, etc., etc. Red Splash has Rebs and Chainsaw, which are the only, the big gains for this deck. I've been thinking if you want to just play White Orchid Phantoms in Red-White, even though they kind of have a nombo with Magus. Just because the White Orchids have been overperforming in Black-White, but Black-White also has Felia to make the White Orchids better, blah, blah, blah. That's a topic for a different day. Ultimately, I think Red-White does edge out Black-White in this matchup, but I'm not the most confident on that. I think it's pretty close, and again, it is the Delver matchup, which is traditionally very good for Death and Taxes, but you do need to respect it, obviously. It's a deck that can always get you, but I do like my matchup against Delver with both of these decks. I think the Overlords specifically do add a lot to the Delver matchup. I do think there's a world where you want to play 1 copy of Emperor of Bones in this list as a bullet for matchups like Delver and a couple others. I did feel like I kind of wanted an Emperor of Bones a couple of times this weekend when I was casting my Recruiter of the Guards. I missed your Dual Commander content. We'll play some more Dual Commander, certainly. I'll probably play some after the Pro Tour. I was going to play some next week, but I want to play the Ketchermost Legacy deck next week. But I will probably play Ketchermost and Dual Commander as well. We'll see. I will definitely play more Dual Commander. I'm not done with that format either. But I just played a bunch of Legacy this weekend, so I want to talk about it. Orchid in the Spirit of Thalias slot, Frank. Seems I add some reasonable percentage to Eldrazi and Saga decks. Yeah, so the big thing about White Orchid Phantom, even in Red-White, I think the non-bow with Magus doesn't come up as much as one would think it does, just because so many decks are just going to fetch out their basics first Red-White anyway, because they expect Magus. So it's not like you casting your White Orchid Phantoms are going to give them opportunities to get their basic land where they didn't have opportunities earlier in that game anyway. There are a couple notable exceptions, decks that don't have fetch lands, decks like Eldrazi. You don't want to cast White Orchid Phantom into your Magus of the Moon. You'd White Orchid Phantom yourself in those situations, but I think it's a possibility that Red-White just wants to be playing Phantom as well. Bomb Attacks is a high. I do love Red White. It's very fun. Johnny Bombardiers is like just such a sick engine, but also like casting Felia Overlord is also a certain type of high. They both do feel really good. What's next on my list? Most of the bad cases for Phantoms are matchups where Thalia and Spirit also. It's like, yeah, that's also true. Just like Moon Stompy, Eldrazi, Phantom is actively good, whereas Thalia and Spirit are bad. Nadu, none of them are very good. Or at least, like, not Bant Nadu, none of them are very good. White Orchid is okay versus Breakfast, because, you know, they're also a Saga deck. You can also cut them off of green, because they don't have the basic forest in Breakfast, usually. I do think that it's a possibility that you do just want to play some number of White Orchid Phantom. Anyway, after Delver, the next concern is Moonstompy. Moonstompy is a deck that I've swung back and forth on, like, pretty aggressively. I thought it was a really bad matchup, and then I thought it was a good match. And, like, historically, it's been a good matchup for a while, and then it got really bad around the MH3 time when they just played, like, a pile of, like, One Rings and Pyrogoyphs and, like, just mono 4-drops when they became just a force check deck with Vexing Bauble. And now they're back to being, like, a super, like, 8 Blood Moon Chalice of the Void, but then they usually play 4 One Ring, 4 Pyrogoyphs still. I think and then I got my ass kicked by it in, like, the finals of a challenge, like, a few months ago when I was playing Red White, and I thought the matchup was heinous. I played against it a couple more times. It's felt pretty good after that. I think I've landed back on, like, the matchup is good again. Now that I kind of understand how to play it, where your priorities lie and stuff. It's definitely a lot scarier than it used to be. But, like, you know, 2-3 years ago, the Moonstompy matchup was, like, just so extremely free, just never lost. Sometimes times change, but specifically, I've gone back and forth on which color splash I like more versus Moonstompy. And I will not mention Mono White many times in this, like, going over matchups, but it's kind of hilarious that I think Mono White has maybe the worst Red White or has the worst Moonstompy matchup, which doesn't make any sense when you think about the deck that has, like, you know, 12 basic planes or whatever versus the 8 Blood Moon deck, and how, like, you can get cheesed out with Black White or Red White in ways that you generally don't with Mono White. But, like, the Blood Moon cheese games matter so much less. They come up less often than the just, like, overwhelming bury you in huge impactful cards games, and Mono White doesn't have the power level to keep up with them as much as Black White and Red White do, I think. When your opponent draws 7 cards with the One Ring, you can't, you know, untap and Johnny Bombardiers and, like, lethal them out of nowhere and punish them for their life, for their aggressive life loss in their Ancient Doom One Ring deck. You can't, you know, Felia into Overlord and produce a very insurmountable board state against the deck that has a bunch of damage-based removal, and pressure them with, like, you know, a giant 5/5 that also gives you a bunch of card advantage. Mono White doesn't have, like, any of those tools. Mono White just has, you know, like, I don't know, Skyclave the One Ring and Prey. You also have, like, less basics in your deck than before because you're like a quad Flagstones deck. So you do still have the case of getting cheesed out by Blood Moon. Mono White is specifically better when you are on the draw and your opponent has turn 1 Blood Moon, which does not happen super often, especially in, like, post-board games where they will shave down a bunch of them. But once you get past turn 1, both of the splash lists have just more access to basics anyway, because you just play, but you have a bunch of fetch lands. You play out your fetch land on turn 1, and you have access to at least one of your colors. No removal equipment, yeah, that's also very big. -8 basic. Well, I mean, adding Witch Enchanter is probably a net positive for the Moonstompy matchup, but yeah. I get what you mean. Going back to the splash lists, I think I've solidified. I was going back and forth on red white versus black white because red white plays a little bit better into those blood moon games where red white can play off of a single basic plains pretty well, and if black white gets blood mooned, even on like turn 2, it can be pretty rough because you need like your basic plains and your basic swamp to cast some of your more powerful stuff like Overlord. Also, red white has the ability to, like I said, punish aggressive life total usage. But I think genuinely Felia Overlord is like just really, really, really busted versus Moonstompy. I try to harp. I've probably said this like 100 times on the channel already. Moonstompy has a very big and very exploitable weakness to end step to like flash threats. They have a lot of sorcery speed removal and not a lot of things that can beat, untap, cast, Nadu plus Nomads kill you, right? Or, in this case, end step, cast Felia, untap, cast Overlord, attack. They have nothing they have, like, attack with Bombardiers and then pass the turn and then see if you flash in Felia. That's, like, the only way to interact with the main deck, usually. And sideboard, they have like a couple of dead gons usually. They just like don't have a lot that actually prevents you from just doing the Felia Overlord thing. And if you ever just like turn 2 Felia, turn 3 Overlord against Moonstompy, it just feels like you can't lose the game at that point. You just get like such overwhelming card advantage that I think I've turned around. And I think that Black-White has a slightly better Moonstompy matchup than Red-White, despite the Blood Moon weakness. I think the Felia Overlord stuff beats the Bombardier stuff in this matchup specifically. Thoughtseize also is a pretty big help when you can cast it. They are a, like I said, Chalice Blood Moon deck, which is not exciting, but Thoughtseize is good at interacting with the big scary cards like Fable and the One Ring in a way that Red has almost no good tools besides Bombardiers, because obviously Magist, Elemental Blast aren't going to do anything. So Thoughtseize is good when you can cast it. And then also specifically, something that I didn't really pick up on as something that would be relevant ever, but has been relevant in a lot of my matches versus Moonstompy, is that if you just get the basic planes, it unlocks your Felia, and you can often use Felia to unlock the rest of your basics under a Blood Moon. Just play out your fetch land on turn 1, you're on the play against Moonstompy. They play a turn 1 Blood Moon or whatever, you have an opportunity to fetch exactly basic planes. You can't really cast a lot else in your deck. You can end step Felia, untap, attack with Felia, blink the Blood Moon, and just like crack all your fetches and find all your basics, and then you kind of get to play a normal game of Magic after that. Which is something that I didn't really think about as a use case for Felia in this matchup specifically, but has come up really, really often for me. Mostly because, they're like an 8 Blood Moon deck now. So it does mitigate some of the Blood Moon weakness of Black-White a little bit for me. I have really appreciated that about this deck. Is that everything I wanted to say about Moonstompy? Thoughtseize pretty good. Felia Overlord extremely good. Exploitable weakness to sorcery speed with sorcery speed removal, blah blah. Yeah, that sounds like everything. So Black-White I think has an edge against Moonstompy, which is one of the most popular decks in the meta right now. I think it's like probably underneath Reanimator and Delver. And it isn't my favorite matchup to play against by a long shot. Like, long gone are the days of it being a very free matchup. But I do think it's favorable with this deck. As I think it was number 1 on Goldfish. Yeah, I think it's probably different if you adjust rates to like challenges specifically. I think Reanimator is the top deck looking at like challenge results only or something. I forget. I was looking at like some different data, but it's probably pretty close. Moonstompy is an extremely popular deck right now for good reason. It's really messed up, good in a lot of matchups. I have a whole rant on, I think the Moonstompy deck lists don't look very good to me, but that's not for this stream, I guess. I'll already go off on too many tangents for this stream. It's now 0.1% below Reanimator. I fucking knew it. So let's get to Reanimator then, huh? Good segue. Reanimator is like super one-dimensional now. Their sideboard plane is like their fair plane is really, really bad against DNT. You'll usually play against their Barrow-Goyfs or whatever anyway, but you don't have to respect it nearly as much as you did in the Frog meta, which is just really nice. You just wanted like mulligan to your hate cards and then try to kill them after that. Notably, Leyline is a little bit worse than stuff like Fairy Macabre on average. Obviously, Leyline of the Void is really good on turn 0, and then really bad after that. Fairy Macabre has a little bit more applicability, plays nicely with Overlord, stuff like that. I do think that you probably want one copy of Fairy Macabre in the deck, mostly just as like a recruiter bullet. Even though it's bad against Oops, which is like one of the big, which probably the biggest reason I'm playing Leyline of the Void specifically. I have thought about it. I played against Reanimator a bunch this weekend. It's a pretty good matchup still. The fact that they're so one-dimensional means that like your hate cards are a lot better. You can beat up their sideboard. You just like don't fucking lose the games to Frog after you mull to 5 and cast Leyline. It's really nice. But I do think you probably want one Fairy Macabre to improve the matchup quality just a little bit for your Recruiter of the Guard, Recursion with Overlord, stuff like that. Although I haven't really nailed down a sideboard plan, but I've been boarding out Overlord sometimes in this matchup, depending on how fair my opponent's sideboards. If I start seeing like Dothy Voidwalkers and stuff, I want Skyclaves more, but if my opponent's like very locked in on the Reanimator stuff and doesn't have, you know, a bunch of Bowmasters and Dothy Voidwalkers and Barragoys or whatever fucking fair bullshit they wanted to play, then sometimes I'll trim down on Skyclaves and leave Overlords in my deck instead. Both cards are like a little bit of a liability under a Leyline because both of them get, you know, Thought Seized and Reanimated, and then the Skyclave kills your Leyline, or the Overlord is a 5/5. Notably, it can't get anything back, so it is just a 5/5, and if you have Failure or Flickerwist, you punish them really badly for reanimating your Overlord, so it's not the end of the world, but I've definitely lost games to my opponent just killing me with my Overlord of the Mailmerk being like the actual only good thing for your opponent to steal it reanimate. All that being said, back to red versus black. I think black is just like very clearly better and has always been better, even through like the MH3 meta. When I was specifically playing red-white, I was taking a knock to my blue-black Reanimator matchup because I thought it was good enough that I wanted to try to support matchups like Eldrazi and Nadu and stuff like that more. But black just has much better tools. Your red cards are pretty awful. The exception being Red Elemental Blast was like okay. It's worse now because there's no Frog. It's decent now because you can more aggressively use your Rebs to protect your Leyline from Brazen Borrower, which is like the only way for them to answer it. But Thoughtseize is just like really good. Gives you like actually a chance to win game ones. Lets you like break up their, if you start with like turn 0 Leyline and you have the Thoughtseize, you can try to like break up the fair plan or isolate the Brazen Borrower in their hand before they have a chance to cast it and stuff. It's just they're a combo deck. Thoughtseize is going to be good against the combo deck. That's just how, you know, the card works. So I think the top 3 decks being Delver, Reanimator, and Moonstompy. And I don't think it's particularly close. I would have to like check the numbers again, but I think those are like pretty distinctly the top 3. I think Black-White is better against almost all of them. Red-White's like maybe better versus Delver, but like we talked about, Delver is your best matchup of the 3, and also you can adjust your deck to be better versus Delver, and I think you should adjust your deck to be better versus Delver, like with these, you know, Path of Exile and stuff. Cheap interaction is the stopping point versus Delver specifically, and that's an easily mitigatable problem. I don't know what I would cut for a Fairy Macabre. One of these cards, I guess. I'm probably skipping a little too much on Nadu Hate, but we'll talk about that, I guess. What do we got? Delver, Reanimator, Moonstompy, Eldrazi. Eldrazi matchup sucks. You can play red and make it a little bit better. You play Magus the Moon, you get to steal a game sometimes, but man, fuck if you want to like play against Eldrazi ever, man. Just dodge it. I just don't want to play against that deck ever with any D&T list. Just fucking dodge Eldrazi. That's really the play. Your matchup's not very good. You can make it a little bit better if you play red. If your LGS, your local legacy scene's got like 4 Eldrazi players, you probably want to play red over black. That's just how it goes. But it's still you still don't want to play against it. It still sucks. And also, the Felly Overlord stuff does some things versus Eldrazi. It is that ever-present kind of card advantage plus game finishing engine. You can develop like the salted machine gun plan with Overlord, but like they do have a lot better ways to break it up. They have K command, dismembers. Do they have Caracas in their list? I feel like they should have one Caracas as like a bullet for like the sneak matchup, if nothing else. But I have no idea. I haven't looked at it closely enough at an Eldrazi list lately. But they're better interacting with it than Moonstompy is. Needless to say. They're also kind of better versus like better at blocking your Felia, and just like your Felia gets a one-time flicker, and then has to eat shit into a 2/2 or a 3/3 or a 4/4. Moonstompy, ironically, like doesn't actually put big things into play a lot anymore. They just have like Baraglyphs and 2/2s mostly now, and hardcast Furies, stuff like that. But yeah, you just dodge it. It's fine. Yeah, biggest thing's like a Pyroglyph. Yeah, it's Pyroglyphs and 2/2s, and the occasional hardcast Furies, but those come out like later. XJ Prelim. What are the odds? Is the Prelim actually firing, or are you just like, is this a goof? You goofing? You're gonna be like, all right, it's close, huh? All right, it's at 6 people. I'll join it. It doesn't seem like it's gonna fire. Let's add this Fairy Macabre that I wanted to play. And let's join the Prelim, and I'll keep talking. What do we want to cut? I'm cutting too much. I cut a Wrath of the Skies and the Plague Engineer for the 2 Path Exiles. I feel like I'm skipping too much on like Nadu hate. We'll just like wait. Is Eureka playing? Wonder Pro is playing. Well, I just can't be Wonder Pro anyway. None of my hate's good against Doomsday, which means we can cut the Mindbreak Trap instead. At least the Deafening Silence is okay versus Doomsday. We'll join. I don't have expectations that it's going to fire. Cut Yorion from sideboard. Good call, good call. Alright, where were we? Eldrazi matchup bad? I think that's what we were talking about. Next on the totem pole is blue-black tempo, whatever, Delverless Delver. That deck is still kind of lurking around for some reason. I don't really get it. It has looked very bad to me, but it's also just like really, really god-awful against D&T. And truly, I just don't think it matters which splash list is better, because both of them are extremely good against blue-black tempo, and you're just going to beat the shit out of them. Red Elemental Blast is really good, especially answering the 1 or 2 of Kaitos that they sometimes have that can be hard to answer, but you also have, creatures and Skyclave and stuff like that to answer Kaito. But they're just, like, not aggressive, they just never pressure your life total. They have like 2 answers to Overlord, whereas Delver usually has like 0 to 1. Blue-black will have like a go for the throat or a shoot the sheriff, and another one in the side, or a dismember and another one in the sideboard, something like that. But the same logic that applied to Delver with regards to Overlord does apply to blue-black pretty well. That you just get to impending your Overlord and then attack them with it in 5 turns. It just survives the top. It just like has a reasonable matchup against the other top decks. That's why it hangs around. That makes sense. I definitely have a little bit of a jaded view because it's truly so awful against D&T specifically, especially without Frog to try to like just run away with the game, cheese a win. But I have a very biased viewpoint, right? So it's possible. It's distinctly possible, maybe even probable that people are playing it because it has good matchups elsewhere, and it's okay to have a bad D&T matchup. So that's all I wanted to say. We can kind of brush over that. It's probably what Doomsday players sound like when they talk about D&T. Yeah, I guess that's kind of fair, huh? Even in Eternal Weekend after I beat my opponent playing this deck, he went, wow, this matchup is impossible. So yeah, fun fact, I lost my round 1 to blue-black tempo. After all this shit I'm talking about it, I lost... Wait, was it blue-black tempo? It wasn't Delver, I don't think. trying to remember. It might have been Grixis Delver. It might have just been Blue-Black Tempo. I just remember they had Tameo and Frog, which doesn't help. Well, it's more likely to have been Blue-Black Tempo, but Delver back then sometimes played Tameo anyway. Matchup very good. Is there anything else that you really want to talk about? I guess like the other decks would be Nadu flavors, the thing that I keep skipping over. Nadu just kind of remains an ever-present thorn in the side of Legacy's existence, and I think it will continue to do so, honestly. It just kind of like not very fun, but I don't think it's actually like good enough to get banned. It's just like hanging out as like shows up, top 8 some stuff sometimes, doesn't feel like broken, which is unfortunate. I made a tweet like right after Nadu got printed into MH3. It's just like, it really sucks when it doesn't suck when Modern Horizons brings cards that are just like super busted in Legacy, because then they just get banned. It's okay to experiment. You want to print a card that's like maybe too good for Legacy, but it's cool in Modern. Something like Ren and 6, maybe not an example, because that card's not very cool for a lot of people, I don't think. But power level wise, a card that's maybe too good for Legacy pushes the envelope, but creates something new and interesting in Modern. And then if it's broken in Legacy, you just ban it. But the cards that suck are the ones that are just like, this card's existence just makes the format a less fun place, but it's never going to be banned on power level. It's just like, well, I'm not going to have fun here, but I call it the Trinity Nemesis effect, because back in the day when Trinity Nemesis was actually a playable Legacy card, it was just like, I'm not having fun against this card. It's really boring, and just no one likes it, but it's never going to get banned. It's not broken. Nadu's definitely closer to the broken line than Trinity Nemesis ever was, but just like, man, I wish we didn't have to deal with like cards that just kind of make Legacy a slightly shittier place. Medium take is that Nadu is the most underplayed card in Legacy. I mean, so many people were playing it though. Maybe in post-ban, people just like, fuck it, I'm done, don't want to play it anymore. I don't know. I don't really get it. Anyway, Nadu's existence. I do think D&T in general has like a pretty decent Nadu matchup across most of them. It's got a worse Cradle matchup because Cradle Nadu's closer to like old Glimpse Elves than it is to like a, you know, like a mid-rangey control-y deck with a combo finish, or you know, Breakfast and Bant are just kind of like a slower deck that you can kind of match pace with a little bit more. D&T is also, you know, a slower deck, so a deck like Nadu Cradle specifically is going to like blow D&T out of the water more often than not. But the other two decks are a little bit slower. You have more time to try to get your Felia Overlord engines online, gather up your bunch of Solitudes or whatever to hold up to break up their combo. Orcish Bowmasters, notably, is a very good pickup in black. With all your removal spells, you can usually isolate a 1/1 to pick off, whether it's, you know, a Green Sun Zenith Dryad Arbor, or I've Bowmastered plenty of Nomads in core in my time. You can also put your opponent in positions a lot where they're incentivized to play Nomads into Nadu in like Crocus situations, stuff like that. Where you can, obviously, your opponent also has the ability to play around your Bowmaster by like sequencing their cards properly or whatever. But Bowmaster is just a really good card in Nadu matchups. It's one of the only matchups that I like actually really like it. And then in the sideboard, you can respect it a little bit more than I'm doing right now. But I just kind of haven't seen as much Nadu around. I don't know if it's just like a personal thing. But this deck was playing 2 Wrath of the Skies and a Plague Engineer, cards that are all really good versus Nadu, but I just wanted cards that were better versus the decks that I was seeing more of. So I kind of just cut those cards. Yeah, maybe less people are playing it online because they don't want to click through that shit. I don't know. Certainly possible. But it's a deck that I think you can mostly get away with. Like, you'll play games against it and you will not have fun sometimes and they will just kill you and you'll feel bad. You'll just like, oh, they had like turn 3 combo with Force and whatever, and I, you know, cast my removal spell and it didn't matter, and it's not fun when they draw 10 cards. But I think the average game is like pretty reasonable for D&T. I guess the difference between black and white, or black and white, red and black, is that just Reb is really good, better than Thoughtseize, generally speaking. All of the, I guess, yeah, all of the decks do have ways to get around Reb. Breakfast typically has like a 1 of Cavern. Bant has Greenstone Zenith, and Cradle just, you don't want to board your Rebs in versus that deck at all, because now it's like their only actual blue card. So I think on average, Reb specifically is better than a card like Thoughtseize, but Thoughtseize is still a pretty good card against them for, you know, it still trades 1 for 1 with usually a combo piece, tries to break up their plan, gives you information for how to like prioritize the cards that you're looking for, or the cards that you're deploying in terms of holding up your own interaction, because it's mostly about holding up several layers of interaction and trying to finish the game, which notably Overlord of the Bale Merciless Velia is really good at doing that, because if you get your Overlord of the Bale Merc online, you just get to hold up a bunch of Solitudes for this game generally. I'm trained to listen to MTO results over paper, but Nadu does seem to do really good at most medium-sized paper tournaments. Nadu just sucks to play online. It's actually so miserable. Yeah, this is maybe understandable. Maybe I mean, I guess I shouldn't be respecting Nadu online, but maybe you do just kind of have to respect it a little bit more offline, huh? Who knows? Is the prelim actually firing? Was I lied to? Oh, wow, it might actually fire. I should finish up this recap, huh? Yeah, 6 minutes. Wonder if Naughty Breakfast is more popular on because it's less miserable. Yeah, it's certainly possible, honestly. Are there any other big matchups in the meta? I guess Oops is the other thing. Oops, you don't really need to talk about because your cards don't actually like really matter. Thoughtseize is good at like trying to not die versus Oops, but this matchup's just all about like graveyard hate, sideboard cards. Your splash choice doesn't matter a ton. Reb is okay versus Oops because you can like Reb their bounce spells or Reb their Memories Journey in tandem with like an additional piece of hate to stop the Dread return. But Thoughtseize just gonna be better. Black has a slight edge, but like your like specific choice of like the Overlord Felia stuff it doesn't fucking matter versus Oops. It's just Thoughtseize tries to keep you alive in a matchup that's otherwise very bad. Don't have to waste a lot of breath on there. Rev on Journey is really useful. Yeah, it certainly can't not to be understated, but like I'd rather just have a Thoughtseize in my hand at pretty much any point in those games. I will board in all of my Rebs as red-white, but like if my opponent sits down and says I'm on Oops all spells, which would you rather play red-white or black-white? I would just say black-white because you get to cast Thoughtseize. What's up, Lackey? I'm doing pretty well. Do any more for prelim? We're at 10. If you want to play, Adam. Think that's it. Are there any matchups, any big matchups that I missed? Forge is still kind of out there. I lost one of my matches in the showcase to Forge. That's just a matchup that just kind of fucking sucks. Thoughtseize is going to be better than the red cards, but it's, I guess, akin to Oops and just... I guess it's more akin to Eldrazi and like the just kind of dodge it. It's fine. Phantom against Oops is like, yeah. If you get that far, you can cast Phantom and Stone Rain him. It's pretty nice. True. That's usually like step 3 on my list is cast a Phantom, White Orchid Phantom. I think I'd rather cast a Thalia versus Oops than a White Orchid Phantom, but that might be the old that might be the first matchup that I've mentioned that you would rather cast Thalia than White Orchid Phantom. All that is to say is that like at the end of the day, I do think Thoughtseize is a little bit better positioned than Reb, which is something that I was kind of like hinting at the beginning. I think there's less good Reb matchups right now, more good Thoughtseize matchups, and the Overlord Felia stuff mitigates some of the matchups that like you wanted red cards in, because it does give you kind of a surplus of removal spells as well as card advantage, and a way to end games, things that I always harped on like red-white for being really good at. So I do think I really like this. I really like black-white Overlord right now. I'll definitely play more red-white to like figure out my thoughts a little bit better on how I feel about it. But like, if I had to recommend someone, you know, Legacy tournament this weekend, what do I play? I'd probably just ship them like the Yoshiwada list or whatever. Notably, like McWinsauce played Yoshiwada's 95 and went 7-2, I think, top 16 of the showcase. I do think that is, I think, with someone as like blue card pilled as McWinsauce picking up D&D, it is kind of a sign that maybe the deck is pretty good. And Yoshiwada, notably, just by himself, has been crushing it lately. Do I have? I do just happen to have a Goldfish link open. But like, 5th place in a challenge, 4th place in a challenge, 3rd place in a challenge, 5-0, 5-0. Yeah. It's like 4 challenge top 8s or something? Was that 3 or 4? 1, 2, it's 3. The only non-blue deck I ever saw Nick Winsauce play was Turbo Muxus. That sounds about right. But yeah, McWinsauce definitely... McWinsauce is like a best deck player, certainly. He will play whatever he thinks wins. Which certainly means that he thinks that the Yoshiwada list looks pretty good, at least. What do I think about the showcase results? What specifically? Because I don't have any thoughts on the showcase results. Because I don't have the showcase results in front of me. What won the showcase? Breakfast? Can we get there? Yeah, Larson. Good old Larson. This dude's a beast. Absolutely cracked fucking Breakfast pilot. Yeah, this is literally exactly what we said. We listed off as top 5 decks, right? Reanimator, Stompy, Delver, Eldrazi, and Blue-Black. And then, hey, look, there's us and Breakfast. Some other stuff we mentioned. Arclight Phoenix, excuse me. Huh. Fair enough. Some weird Arclight Phoenix Storm. Odd. Oh shit. Match started? I didn't think this was actually gonna fire. Well, I guess we're doing this now, which is good because I think we kind of wrapped up what I wanted to say. Ultimately, I think Yoshiwada like kind of nailed it. I think his list looks very good. I have adjusted the sideboard like a tiny bit, but his main deck feels like very solid to me. Are we playing against a Canadian with bad politics? I have no idea who this is, so maybe. Pierre fucking French names. I hope my opponent's on, like, Moon Stompy, honestly. This hand. Canadian Trump, I think. Oh, no. Fascist who may get elected soon. Oh dear. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? Oh no. Wait, what's... This is just like Reanimator? Seems like it might just be Reanimator. Could be like Doomsday or something. I'll cry. I'm like a little torn because I almost want to just like White Orchid Phantom my opponent, because I know people are conditioned to leave their best card on the, like, if they're gonna draw 2 cards off the ponder, they leave the the better card on the top in case they get Thought Seized or something. So like White Orchid Phantoming this Underground Sea might actually be decent, but if it's Reanimator, I just want to like, you know, slam Stoneforge Mystic, go get Lion Sash or whatever anyway. White Orchid Phantom's also like better post Doomsday pile, but you know, they could also have a Doomsday on the top of their deck if they're that. you to try to shuffle it away. I don't actually know what I want to do here. I have even more options now, huh? They did shuffle on the Ponder. Chad, does Ponder shuffle just mean you wasteland him every time? I think it does. I think I'm fine taking a time walk here. Oh, wait, yeah. Ponder shuffle means that the White Orchid Phantom play is not very good. At all. I don't know why I was talking about that being a plan. Instantly, chat just filled with yeses. Whenever your opponent Ponder shuffles, just fucking wasteland them. Wow, chat was wrong. I can't believe chat would lie to me like this. Alright, well. Let's go get Lion Sash and hope we don't... Nah, they top decked it? Oh, true. Hopefully they just, like, daze this. Or they just let it resolve and also don't have anything. Both of those outcomes would be pretty nice. Well... Thanks, Hooch Bazooka. I guess the one thing I didn't get to in my, like, spiel about Black-White is I think maybe we want to reevaluate the sideboard plan. Maybe maybe we rebuild the sideboard a little bit. When your first legacy local in 3 years is fun? Hell yeah. What's my opponent doing? I guess we just always Stoneforge for Sash here. Because even if it is Doomsday, we just have the Culture in hand now. Maybe they'll get Atraxa. Maybe they don't even have it. Maybe they're just shuffling. Oh, they already shuffled on their Brainstorm. I suppose we have no answer to this currently, huh? That's not very good. Well, I guess we're discarding this Culture Complete, huh? We have 12 top decks that are good against this. That's not one of them, huh? Affiliate minute? I guess that doesn't work. Yeah. To do what? To blink the enemy dead? I think I'm going to just discard White Orchid Phantom and Flashing Felia. Kind of works since you have Sash. Yeah, I guess it works this turn, huh? Assuming that we don't, you know, they haven't drawn a billion cards and killed me by then. If they literally have nothing, yes. They only have 6 cards in hand. What could possibly go wrong with this plan? They already cast 1 Force Will. There's no way they could have a second. Their hand is 6 Troll of Khazad-dûs. You just gotta believe. We'd also like draw Thoughtseize. I see. Maybe they'll hit 10 lands on the Atraxa in addition to the 3 lands in their hand. Wow, it was actually kind of a little close. I saw all the Troll of Cosmos. This is a really bad Atraxa. What'd they get? Sewers, Reanimate, Animate, Dead, Brazen Borrower? Alright. We're gonna lose, but we can technically answer all of this. If their hand is literal all blanks. Just every single card in their hand is a blank. This doesn't seem very good, huh? No force, no force, no force, no force, no force, no force, no force. No force of wills. Alright, cool. How did this? There's no way. What did they take? Their hand is Sewers, Reanimate, Animate, Dead, Borrower. All right. There's just no way this. I think I just let them have the White Orchid Phantom, right? What's happening? What is this? Oh, there's targeting. Okay, I can see it. I think I just let this happen? Oh, maybe this is dangerous. Because we go to 5. We do get a free land, which is actually kind of nice. Because we have second Caracas. This is dangerous because they could borrow the Felia and cast the borrower potentially. We go to 5, and then before we can like Felia the White Orchid Phantom back to our side. Don't love this, huh? Don't love that they're just immediately killing my thing. Exile the Entomb out of spite. Sure. Does AD not need to declare a target when it flickers back in since you're not casting it as an aura? I think no, but then their trigger goes on the stack, and then it's targeting a card before it puts it into play? I don't know exactly how that works. The card gets chosen, and then, but it is targeted. I don't know the official rules, huh? Alright, hang on. We're somehow alive, and I want to make sure we don't fuck this up. What's the best way to do this? I don't think I want to jam into daze when my opponent hasn't shown us a single daze. We know 2 of the cards in their hand only. We know AD and Reanimate. Animate Dead and Reanimate are both in their hand, which are scary. And Atraxa, yeah. It's also scary if they find... I guess they don't have the mill anymore. And they're low on brainstorms. They're down 3 brainstorms anyway. We know 3 of the 6 cards in their hand. If we can get a Flicker Whisper, it's pretty nice. But maybe it's just Sorcery Speed, Jam Recruiter, go get Stoneforge for Formal Lore for Sash ain't bad to turn off the reanimation stuff. They can't reanimate things very well anymore. They have to just reanimate my stuff. If I go get a Formal Lore, they're gonna reanimate my Lion Sash probably, and then it'll sit there as a 1/1, but I think I'd want a 2-drop if I'm recruiting, or I just cast the Felia. It might just be recruit, Flicker Wisp, cast Felia with Caracas up, say go. Take another 1. I'm worried about dying to the Borrower. But Flicker Wisp helps against that, right? Because Flicker Wisp is 2 flyers. We could, like, just recruit Bowmaster, but I think I like Wisp. I think I like getting Wisp and playing Felia this turn. Because Felia is an answer to the flyers because it can flicker the White Orchid Phantom. If the Felia somehow gets answered, we also have the Wisp to get back the White Orchid Phantom. We do have to be worried, I guess, of Troll, right? Have they shuffled? Are all the Trolls on the bottom of their deck? No, they didn't shuffle, right? They played Undercity Sewers? No, they had a fetch land on my turn, I think. I don't remember. But I do have to be worried about getting trolled. I think I want to Sorcery Speed this Felia. They probably don't have a ton of removal, and I do want to play around like a Hardcast Force. Somehow this game continues after reanimate Archon attack with Archon and reanimate Atraxa. I probably should cast Felia first. Force Pitch. Force Pitch Brainstorm? Really? Don't you have an Atraxa in your hand? No, my Wisp! Oh shit, we're gonna die. Alright, top of the deck, don't fail me now. Flicker the... Yeah, sure. Flicker Wisp off the top? One-time dealer? Recruiter off the top or Flicker Wisp off the top? We're gonna draw Felia and look like a fucking idiot, huh? I don't think there's anything we could have done to play around this specific sequence of cards, huh? Like, Force plus Thoughtseize was always going to fuck our shit right up. That's not good enough because the fucking Borrower, huh? I thought that was good for, like, a split second. Maybe I should have eaten the White Orchid Phantom. We'd be at like 6 here. They wouldn't have a Phantom in play. Just block. They're thinking about it. Yeah, so I specifically didn't eat the Phantom because I wanted to put pressure on their ability to reanimate a Troll that turn, because I knew they had 2 reanimate spells in hand. But they could always just go Borrower, Cycle Troll, reanimate, or animate dead in like the absolute worst case. So maybe that was stupid. We also knew all the trolls were on the bottom. That's also true. Cast Philia, add Yorion. I think that still loses, right? They just thought seize me. Oh, I guess then we have Recruiter and Yorion. Well, then they thought seize the Yorion, animate it, flicker thing. That doesn't really do anything. Dang. They also don't necessarily... I think I should have sequenced that a little bit differently. I think I should cast the Philia first because it was known info. But I don't think that changes what I think I just would have always recruited Wisp there anyway and then got it thought seized. If you cast Philia and they force it, and then you just pick up Yorion, then they can't thought seize reanimate your Yorion because we have Caracas in play. They just thought seize Recruiter. We have Yorion. We're at 4 life. We could potentially play Yorion. Can they do anything with their reanimates on my other stuff? They could thought seize the Recruiter, reanimate it, go get a second Borrower, but they don't have enough mana to put all of that into play. We only have a Yorion. That might buy us like a turn. I don't like that play. Feels like it's weaker to more things happening to me. We only have 12 sideboard. I don't think we have 12, do we? We have like 7. No, 8. I did just recently add this Fairy Macabre. I think I want to reconfigure this sideboard. Maybe I want to just like play a bunch of cages and lose the oops matchup more often. Not waiting for the 80 trigger to be back on the stack would have kept the Phantom out of play in the first place. Wait. Oh, so don't eat anything. Let the 80 come back into play. They presumably don't target the Archon. They target the thing. We eat the thing, and then we still have the 1 mana up. They untap and then kill my guy, and then I eat the Archon then. Yeah, that's definitely better. It plays around Troll similarly badly because they can always force the issue by casting Reanimate on the Archon and then cycling the Troll or whatever, but we also probably shouldn't have played around Troll at that point in the game because we knew 3 of them are on the bottom of the deck. I should actually sideboard, huh? This is what I found myself usually doing. Although now I'm like 1 card off because I added a new card for the sideboard. I was usually boarding on all these things. Yeah. I do think playing around Troll there is valid if you don't know that they're all on the bottom of the deck from the Atraxis trigger, because Troll does just fucking kill you. It is very wild that that game was at all close. I would like to cast Thoughtseize targeting you, my opponent. Force will it. Do it, coward. They thought about it. I kind of want to take this Ponder. I hate leaving them with Entomb in hand because I just fucking know every time I'm gonna get Thought Seized and they're gonna take the Macabre and then fucking kill me with the Entomb. But it requires they don't have the Reanimate either. They need 2 pieces to beat this Fairy Macabre. I should take the Ponder. You'd take Daze? Really? Daze is like the worst card in their... I guess Force is the worst card in their hand. I guess Troll's the worst card in their hand to take with Thoughtseize. We have plenty of time to play around with this Daze. I think I can just go go into Scrubland, Stoneforge for Sash or whatever. I think I'm taking the Ponder. You're not weird for wanting to take the Tomb with the Cob. It's perfectly valid. I think it's playing a little scared, but I do like to play scared in this matchup because I am scared. constantly. Cast the Entomb. Just fire it off. You drew the reanimate. Oh shit. Did they actually? Yes! Yes! Never punished! They actually did draw the reanimate. It's just that easy. Wait, they didn't draw the reanimate? Huh? Huh? Why are we... What? Huh? Just shuffling to thin the deck to try to draw the reanimate, I guess? Okay. Did you ever respond to the fetch by casting Felia? No, they just have... Oh, to get the Felia in under a daze. Hmm. Yeah, probably, honestly. Drew another Entomb, it was a different art. Oh, fuck, I already X'd it out, was it really? Force. Pitch daze. I wonder if I should have cast Felia this turn. Knowing that my hand just has nothing going for it. I also don't think my hand needs a lot going for it, because my opponent's hand has even less going for it than mine does. Come on, cycle that troll. You know you want to. What are they... This sequence is so bizarre to me. Why did they just fire off the Entomb and not cycle the troll? I think I'm gonna wait one more turn. Not fetching. Could just fetch a Surveil at this point. Yeah. I'm looking for some pretty specific stuff. I guess I'm a little scared because I don't... If I find a land on top and I don't really want it unless I get wastelanded. Well, that's an easy one. What are we doing, opponent? Genuinely curious if it was actually a second Entomb and it was a different art. What are we doing? Alright, cool. Go. I'll cast Felia upon your next end step. The turn 1 Entomb instead of like fetching a Surveil land is so weird to me. Were they like trying to high roll? Say Thalia would be good here. Wouldn't you just... I would have boarded out Thalia. Thalia would be better than Felia here, perhaps? Overlord would be better than Felia here. I also don't think that you need your Felia to be very good here to win the game. I'm going to play my 2/2, untap, play my 2/2, and blink my 2/2, and then they will probably die. What are the odds that they have Orcish Bowmaster in their hand? Like 100%? We could save it with the plow. We have the path back up. If they have days, it sucks. They usually only have like 3 days in this deck. One of them's exiled. Then probably save it. Wait, why did it not pass priority on that fetch land? And we get to eat the other half of the Bowmasters. Just let it go? Nah. If I didn't have Macabre, I absolutely would not cast Plow there. I want as many answers to shit as possible. Oh, the holding a priority? Is that really it? Weird. No, thank you. Reanimate Troll? Ah, Fatal Push Felia. Sure. That's pretty good. It's hard to telegraph having 0 mana cards when we managed it. Yeah, the most aggressive plow in the fucking game. So we exiled the Bowmaster, so we can kind of jam the Sash here if we want to. It is exposed to exactly Bowmaster, unexposes it to I guess it doesn't unexpose it forceful. Unexposes it to Thoughtseize. They're already down 1 Bowmaster. This protects it from removal in future turns because it lets me reconfigure it and hold up white mana. So I think I do like to do it this way. It's a 1-turn window for my opponent to draw. Cool. Do I even want to reconfigure it? Protects it against pushes, does not protect it against... I guess if we could reconfigure it onto Skyclave, and then after next turn stop attacking with the Stoneforge to player on Borrower. I think all roads lead to Rome at this point. I can just kind of play however I want. Yeah, we just want to kill them so we can not time out for game 3. I guess this didn't play around the Borrower thing that I was literally just talking about, but whatever. You need 3 mana up to play around Borrower, so I shouldn't have eaten the second time. I also didn't stop and do the math on whether or not it was going to be lethal. If I it hit for 5 damage there and then untapped and then attacked again. Yeah, it's fine. think we're just in garbage time. Grab Containment Priest here. Just gonna path this fucking Bowmaster on end step. Okay, they actually just concede. Cool. We did it. Played that a little sloppy towards the end there, but you know. Yeah, D&T is not the deck to close out games with, certainly. So we didn't see any of, like, the mid-rangey stuff, so there's an argument to, like, bring in some, like, maybe do this. I usually have, like, again, one more slot because I usually don't have this Fairy Macabre. I need to, like, reconfigure this sideboard a little bit better, rather than, like, very sloppily add in a Fairy Macabre for the last minute prelim. But I usually shave on. This hand is not good against Reanimator. It would be good if my opponent was going to cast Barrow Glyphs and not Entomb. But we have a lot of good cards to mulligan towards. Oh dear. I said... Hey, found him. Seems like a pretty easy mulligan. Well, I hope my opponent has a very reanimate heavy hand. And not a Barrow Glyph. Classic XJL holding up a prelim for 10 minutes. Look, you're the one who... you're not the one who wanted me here, it was Everin. So we saw Bowmaster, so we don't want to just run out this Sash if I don't have to. I really don't want to run out this Stoneforge Mystic, but given the context of my hand, I feel like I kind of need to. But I also think it's probably not going to resolve, and I'll be very sad about it. I guess the Stoneforge doesn't actually get a lot. I guess it gets the Phantom Blade, but it's not the worst if this didn't resolve. Phantom Blade insulates me a little bit versus a Barrow Glyph next turn. Formal are certainly very bad here. Formal could pitch to Solitude, which is probably what this Recruiter is going to end up getting. No Fatal Push, please. Good. Aw. Land? Nice. I think we just run out Sash and make it a 2-2. Play around Fatal, or play around Bowmasters. So we play around another Bowmasters, because this thing can be a 4-4 with the fetch. Sure. 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 Why did it give me priority that time? There's no Fairy Macabre in my hand that time. My Recruiter. I think we're going to fetch Surveil here, honestly. My opponent hasn't even... we haven't seen a Wasteland from them. I like how we're Barrow Glyph proof. Yeah, by exiling my own yard constantly. Nice 0-1. But yeah, we genuinely haven't seen Wasteland from them. I wonder, they might not have them. I mostly just want to sculpt my hand a little bit here. I'll feel like a real dingus when I get Wastelanded next turn. But I do think I just kind of want to find a little bit more action. What are we pausing here for? Goodbye, Basic Swamp. Hopefully we don't need you. Surely this decision could never punish us in the future. Wait. Oh, shit! They got me. I didn't play around drowning the lock because I can only eat one thing here. And because I milled, wow. I would have played into this because I would have eaten. I shouldn't eat now. No, I should eat because I'm never reanimating this recruiter. No, this is going to die and go to the graveyard. It's a pretty good punish. But I would have definitely got by it, not played around it. Because I would have fetched Basic Swamp if I didn't fetch Shadowy Backstreet. I think I just Phantom Blade this. Maybe not. 4 cards in hand. I don't want them to untap and cast Barrowglyph. Yeah, they showed a game 1. Just not a card that was on my mind. Draw another land, it would be nice. Skyclave. That's better than Phantom Blading here, I think. Maybe not. They wouldn't have a third piece of interaction. Am I allowed to attack into Bowmasters? Oh, well, goodbye, Yorion. Perfect. Stop! Cut it out with these fucking Bowmasters, man. Kill the 2-2 with the Phantom Blade. Graveyard. Surely they won't have the third. Oh, they didn't have the third Bowmaster. Let's go. Can't lose to Goyf now. Fucking doing it. Attack me. Come on. Block. Oh shit. An actually good draw. I think I'm casting Felly as soon as they crack the fetch, if they give me a window. Because they like plays around Hardcast Force, potentially. If not, I'm just going to jam this. Obviously. What the hell do I flicker? I guess we can flicker the Phantom Blade, kill the Bowmaster. It's really bad if they drew an Orcish Bowmaster this turn. What are the odds? It's actually not even that bad. Bang. Opponent clearly did not study the blade. We did it! We won! Alright, I'm going to the bathroom. And we're not in the Wonder Pro bracket. Ah, fuck, we're in the Eureka bracket. Alright. 61 cards. Are we getting... Oops. Goblins? Green-white depths? I skillfully dodged both of you. Seems fine. Fetch, we have double basic. Bottom... one of the threes? Really helps if I knew what I was playing against. Opponent says good luck, homie. So I guess we have a little bit of information, but I don't know how much you're supposed to read into 61. Because sometimes people just play 61 for vibes. If the answer is that they're playing oops, my decision does not matter, we're going to die. The other two common 61 card decks are Goblins and Depths. Which case I would want a bottom Recruiter, I think. Recruiter does activate the Overlord. Because you can do a Wisp, but it's really slow. Skyclave doesn't work very well with the fetch a bunch of basics plan, but it's also our only removal spell in the current hand. Stoneforge is kind of the value card, so we have two kind of value cards, so I think this is what I'm going to do. You would bet $1,000 it's oops? Is it because they said good luck, homie, or just because they have 61 cards, and that's the most common 61 card deck? Don't reveal a Balustrade Spy. Ah, fuck. Good luck, homie gives it away. Yeah. Does anyone ask in paper how big opponent's deck? It's information you're allowed to ask, but I don't think anyone ever does. I'll DM you my Venmo. Well, maybe they don't have the turn 2 either. Or the turn 3. Alright, if we draw exactly... Actually, am I supposed to, like, Wasteland here? Just, like, pretend like I have a shot? Oh, shit, now we do. There's no way they could possibly beat this singular copy of Wasteland. Second copy of Wasteland is on the top of the deck. Or White Orchid Phantom. White Orchid Phantom off the top. Come on. That's not that card. Alright, well, they will simply not have it next turn, and we'll have Lion Sash with 3 white mana up, which is probably good enough? Question mark? What do you board into Doomsday as DNT you need to beat Mike? Hopes and dreams, man. Yeah, concede, go eat dinner. Board into him mulling to 4. And then you still lose, because he mulls to, like, land Darker Doomsday. Well, we tried our best. I think if we had drawn White Orchid Phantom that turn, we might have had a shot. We'd have to draw White Orchid into, like, White Source to, like, have Sash up that turn. What is... Wait, am I missing something? Why does this deck have so few green cards in it? Hang on. Turn off yields. Why does the deck not have a bunch of green cards in it? Are they... I guess they have Once Upon a Times. Do they have enough green cards for Force of Vigors? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Is this usual? They might have like one extra in hand too. It's sort of toxic that we need to look. Yeah, it's really toxic that you need to like look at the oops piles because there's like a bunch of different choices that they make. Nature's Claim lately. All right, yeah, we're dead here. Wait, we're dead here, right? I guess I should actually check for the kill. Where's the fucking Dread Return? There it is. All right. Alright. Now we have... no, I was going to say 12 card sideboard, but not quite. I am entitled to my full clock. He's on store when you died. Yeah, I mean, that also sounds correct. Alright, get these shitters out of here. These shitters out of here. Wow, we have a lot of shit in this deck, huh? I guess Feli's decent because you can pair it with White Orchid Phantom. I guess this is actually pretty clean. We only just add one card back in. Yeah. I didn't check for a Bridge from Below, but I don't like Saltage like just doesn't ever beat oops anymore, right? With like the Poxwalkers stuff. Less green cards means Charbelcher's more likely. It only matters if they Informer without mana up, which is never. Yeah, I think this is probably a pretty solid sideboard plan. Overlord at least, like, digs you to the phantoms and stuff. And obviously you can, like, Overlord Failure to, like, you know, try to kill them after. It's good to, like, put a bunch of power in play after you mold a 5 for your Leyline. You keep your Leyline, 2 lands, Felia, Overlord hand, and it's just, like, the best way to kill them fast, so... You're just never allowed to keep this, right? when I boarded in like 5 A+ cards, not at all. Snap Mole, not at all. Yeah, all right. You can if you want to lose. All right. Thank you for validating me. This hand's just not allowed. All right. I feel like you mull again, right? My opponent kept 7. There's no way you could get him with the trap, and then you White Orc and Phantom him. This is literally never a world where you keep this hand. I think this is better than the 7, honestly. Trap works so rarely now. It does make sense, right? If they just have like Dark Ritual Spirit Guide, you can't even trap them. Or like land, or just like land go into like land Dark Rit. Well, if land go it doesn't work because we have White Orc and Phantom to keep them off of that. So like Mighty Trap plus White Orchid on the play is kind of nice, but into like turn 3 Recruiter for Macabre that doesn't fucking matter. Cause maybe you didn't recruit just like Wisp to Wisp the White Orchid Phantom or their land. This hand, I think this hand is like kind of close, but I think with on the play with the amount of stuff that I have to find, and well, all right, it's fine. All right, we keep land. Do we just keep land, Thoughtseize, Mindbreak Trap? I don't even think it's... I think it's worth keeping 2 lands over keeping the Stoneforge. You keep Stoneforge 1 land, just pray. I guess that's the plan, just like Cauldron them afterwards. Just rip 2nd land and Cauldron them after fetch Thoughtseizing. Are you more likely to draw a land than Irrelevant 2? Well, you can like Surveil, but... We could also maybe keep... Yeah, I think keeping Mighty Trap is better than keeping 2nd land. Let's see how good our hands would have lined up versus this. I think that 6 was like close, honestly. Damn, our 6 was so good. I mean, I'm just gonna take this Balustrade Spy, and then we're... I mean, I guess it's nice that we didn't have Leyline, huh? I kind of want to, like, take something else and let them go for it, but... we just... Our 7 was so good. What was our 7? Was our 7 good against this? It was... Oh yeah, it was just, like, Thoughtseize plus good stuff. Take Spy. Yeah, if I take Spy, another will be on top for sure. That is how the cookie crumbles. And then we'll get them with the trap. And then we'll draw land of Stoneforge for Cauldron. Oh, wait, they have Dread Return. Wait, they could just cast the Dread Return on the Spy. I think if I didn't have trap, the play is take Dark Rit, right? Can't they just, like... Lotus Petal, Dark Rit, Spirit Guide, Dread Return the Spy. And then I die? But they have opted not to. Yeah, the correct take was actually Dark Ritual. Hilariously enough. Are they playing around my Mindbreak Trap? I just get Sash here? I think I'd get Sash here now that, like, I'm actually terrified that they're just actually going to kill me. No, they have Nature's Claim in hand, though. We just have to get Cauldron and then hope that they don't see it ever. Fair Dread Return has to be so rare. Issue is that, like, even if we take Dark Rit, like, the Mindbreak Trap then is also pretty turned off because they're just going to, like, slow play out their stuff, and then the Mindbreak Trap's never going to tag the Spy anyway. Maybe we get Sash there to force the Nature's Claim, but also, like, forces some of their fast mana usage. Okay, they're not playing around Trap. I think they just don't see it. assume they've just forgotten they can catch her. Yeah, I mean, I also forgot until someone in chat pointed it out. I didn't even fucking think about it. It would have been fucking sick, though, if we got to Mind Break Trap the Dread Return and exile it. Oh, they just realized it. Oh, they played the Chromox, though. They're going to play into the Mind Break Trap. Fuck yeah. Or they have, like... No, they need another black source. They can't just, like... Guide. Oh, yeah. And they had the black source because they have the pedal. Trap him. Oh, you... So uncool. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. I mean, they could have played around the trap there, so it didn't really matter. I think if I took the... I'm definitely supposed to take the Dark Ritual, though. Oracle's in my hand. I'll choose to believe them. They just... Wait, if Oracle is in their hand, then they actually... Because they couldn't have just... They couldn't have just played around... Yeah, it's fine. I'm good. I don't want to play it. What was the 6? The 6 was... Trap, White Orchid Phantom, Recruiter, 3 lands, I think. Chat was telling me that Mind Break Trap isn't very good versus Oops anymore, which is kind of understandable. If Trap isn't good versus Oops. It's just that, like, I hate the 1-mana stuff versus Oops. Like, Deafening Silence and Grafdigger's Cage, because as D&T you just never get to win game 1, so you just always have to win game 3, and then you never can win game 3 if all your hate is like turn 1s. I am dumb and I was just supposed to take the Dark Ritual. That game becomes a lot easier. I think we do end up losing... Maybe not, because they drew the Oracle, too, so if we just sit on the trap the whole time, they have to, like, therapy themselves multiple times to get the Oracle and the Dread Return out of their hand and stuff. Yeah, I just also kind of... Leyline's awkward. Let's do some... Wait, that match finished early, so let's do some, let's reconfigure the sideboard in ways that I, like, want to try to think about this deck more. Because I don't like how this sideboard feels. It's like maybe you just eat shit to Oops and, like, pray that they don't turn 1 you in game 3, and you just play, like, a bunch of cages. And you play, like, a combination of Cage and then the 1 Fairy Macabre for Reanimator, and you just play, like, Mind Break Trap, Deafening Silence. You could also play, like, Mind Break Traps to supplement the inability, like, the lack of ley lines versus Oops, to, like, you know, have a shot at not getting turn 1'd. You hope to see your Cage 2 on the play, and then your ley line on the draw game 3. Yeah. It's just like you have to like play this game twice with Death and Taxes because you have Leyline versus Cage, and then you also have Deathly Silence versus Trap. And if you look at like Yoshiwata's list, he has no ley lines. He has like two Macabres and like a bunch of garbage that doesn't beat Oops ever. He plays I think like two Cages, and then he plays like three leyline no trap. And like that configuration, I do really hate because it's just like all stuff that eats shit to Force of Vigor. Hang on, I've not been acknowledging follows today or resubs. Hey, Palmon3, thanks for the follow. Also, I forget if I thanked Eureka for the 6-month resub 34 minutes ago, but thank you. Good luck in your match against Evren. Alright, so what are the non-negotiables? It's really hard for non-blue to beat Force of Vigor. That is correct. But it is nice when you can diversify your hate, so they can't always just have like a Force of Vigor or Nature's Claim hand and kill you, right? Unban Vexing Bobble, but just for a sideboard card. Wait, does that even help? Don't they just like Force of Vigor your Leyline in response to the Bobble cast? Or just like, I guess if you have Leyline on the draw, you get a draw step at least. Oops, is evolved. Yeah, stack-based hate that isn't Force of Will specifically, like surgicals, and it's kind of the opposite of the issue that that Blue Black like post pre-ban Reanimator was having on the format, where like Leyline was unplayable, and you could only play like Fairy Macabre, Surgical, Cage, that sort of stuff. But now it feels like you can only play like Leyline or Cage, or lose to Oops. Yeah. I think these are the only non-negotiable. I think you really do want like extra cheap 1-mana removal versus Delver, whether that's Path to Exile or Path to Exile. You want to chill? There we go. Whether it's Path of Exile, like something like Fatal Push or whatever, I think Path is pretty fine, especially in tandem with White Orc and Phantom. You can mitigate the downside a lot. I oftentimes just kind of want to cut this Containment Priest, if we're being honest. It's like, it's been grandfathered into the sideboard so long, and it's like pretty okay in some matchups. It comes in versus a decent amount of stuff. It's like it's probably not actually cuttable. Whoops. What, round 2's already done? I didn't even finish thinking about this sideboard. I don't know why I have all this shit backwards. There we go. This is like Graveyard Hate. Storm Hate, kind of. Disruptor Flute has kind of impressed me more than I thought it would as a sideboard card, because it just like comes in versus so much. This is really like kind of multi-purpose. Comes in first, Moonstompy, Nadu, as well as stack-based combo. I don't like being 2-mana. Really sucks in the deck of like so many 2-mana spells. I'd really like a card like Pithy Needle, but like Flash Pithy Needle and the extra effect are both really powerful. And Flute has like genuinely impressed me in the time that I played it, so maybe I'll just keep playing Flute for a little bit. But it's not a very good dedicated anti-combo card, but it's also like there's not actually that much combo in the format right now, besides Reanimator. Doesn't really qualify in my brain. So it's kind of nice as a multi-purpose. This card is good against a lot of the decks you'd expect to see, and it's decent against the decks that you don't expect to see as much. So I do kind of like Flute more than I expected to. I think you do kind of want some amount of Nadu hate, some pile of like maybe I should play one Plague Engineer over a singleton copy of Wrath the Skies, just because it's a little bit more utility with Recruiter of the Guard. It's kind of the same matchup. Comes in versus Nadu, but Wrath the Skies is also really good versus the Saga decks. Could also just try to make room for like another Wrath of the Skies or Plague Engineer shaped card. Flute is 2024 surgical. People want to board it in, board it in versus Eldrazi and name Sowing Micah Spawn and stuff. Like, that's not where you want to be. Oh shit, we're in the mirror. Alright, we gotta lock in. We're gonna time out. We're gonna time him out. Stepped into the fucking Thunderdome. His hand is fine in the mirror. If he's actually on. Kawakomi. If he's actually, he could be on. He said he was on DNT, but who knows? Maybe he was BSing. Maybe he's gonna play his weird Stifle Not Yorion pile. Maybe not. Maybe he's on DNT. We got Skyclave for the Vial, which is good. Do I even cast White Orchid Phantom here? I could, like, fetch Surveil Land. I don't even want to fetch Surveil Land right now. Alright, this is a little bit better. Maybe we'll fetch Surveil Land now. Give a few more lands. I guess it is actually a little scary. It's good to not play the White Orchid Phantom here, I guess. Not in the face of this specifically. But, like, if he just goes land go and we tap out for Skyclave on Vial and he casts Felia, we could get fucked by, like, Felia Overlord turn. So having White Orchid Phantom to pitch to Solitude in that emergency case would be nice. But it didn't happen, so... Why are you the fucking worst? I can't mill this, right? It's my only black source. You need lands in this matchup anyway. We'll be fine. We'll be fine for sure. Gimme. Next turn we can, like, add Yorion to hand, hold up Plow. Not super keen on attacking into a Bowmaster here. No, that's fine. You can target me or you. It's actually kind of bad for me because we're already got a basics. I guess we can White Orchid Phantom his Caracas now. Oh. Could have Plow here, but I think we just send it anyway. This is as good a window as any to try to snipe the Vial. Dang. Not great for me. Losing on the Vial war. So I could Wasteland the Caracas now, which is better than White Orchiding it, because I could add Yorion to my hand. Also, they missed a land drop. If we attack, we get got by a second White Orchid Phantom. I guess this baits out second White Orchid, potentially. This is just Felia, sure. So if he had White Orchid, he would have blown up his own Caracas there, so we can attack. Unless he's like fucking huge braining me here. And then we plow this on upkeep to play around second Felia off this Vial. What do you get here? Just Cauldron, probably? But we can untap and Phantom Blade. Kind of annoying. I don't think I'm supposed to, like, burn Solitude on Stoneforge. Do you also get Cauldron? No. Just want to take up the Vial, sure. Just have Cauldron in hand. Maybe you just Phantom Blade for damage here. Killing the Wisp ain't bad. Untap Solitude Felia. We're definitely in a pickle. We definitely need to answer this Felia right now. If we draw a land, we could potentially answer the Vial to stop the Yorion. He does also need to draw a third land to Yorion me. But that could pretty easily happen. This could also just tutor up a third land if he really wants. Just get like Flicker Wisp here, probably. So Wisp the Phantom Blade. Put me to 9. Then Phantom Blade the Solitude. We're just going to get buried. I guess we don't know that he has the land for that. Maybe you just grab the land, take Vial to 4, pick up Yorion. That would be good for me, at least. No, that's very bad for me. Miss a damage. Miss 2 damage. You fool. Feels like we're pretty dead, huh? They just pick up Yorion. Even if they don't, even if we draw 6 land, we can like recruit Skyclave the Vial. Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to play this game more. Loot, maybe? What sucks in this matchup? White Orchid. I guess Bowmasters is kind of horse shit, huh? Bowmasters kills Wisp Recruiter. Man, I haven't played the Mirror in forever. Well, Bowmasters does trade with Felia. Yeah, but that involves giving them a Felia trigger, which is usually really bad for you. It's good if they go Felia into, like, Recruiter, and then you get them because they attack, target the recruiter, and you bowmaster the recruiter and then block the Felia, and everything's great. But if they just like Felia into Overlord, your bowmaster does not want to trade with their Felia. I mean, we do have exactly 3 cuts, so I could act. I mean, maybe bowmaster is better than flute though. Flute is only good if, I guess, with mom out of the picture too. Flute's pretty bad. It's only when you're losing the Vile War or you're like really scared of a Cauldra. Yeah, maybe it's just this. Maybe we don't board flute in this matchup. Could maybe even talk me to boarding out Sash. Boarding the Macabre. What, are you gonna get him? Gonna get the pre-war formal trigger? You don't even get that. That's not how Overlord works. You could snipe a card before the trigger resolves. I hate mulliganing in the mirror. Have a Vile, can't lose. I'll just play Trawler tapped here, I think. I don't think this card's ever going to matter. I guess the 3 life's even less likely to matter. And if we just like draw lands for a couple of turns, then maybe we just end up casting the Trawler as a creature. We'll surveil here. You really want to find it. Overlord is busted. I don't think I want more lands, because we have the ability to have more lands if we need to here. If we draw spells. So usually I would wait on the Felia because I have Caracas here, but they have Wasteland, so waiting doesn't make any sense. So I think we just force the action. Sure. What do I recruit for? I guess we can just recruit Skyclave. Skyclave the Vile here. 5 cards in hand. We have more lands, so we're still okay. We have another recruiter. I think we can afford to recruit for answers here. It's a little scary if... Overlord? Sure. Do we have answers to Overlord in our own deck? Like, can we kill Overlord? I guess we have, Ooh, missed a land drop. Neat. We have Witch Enchanter that can kill a exposed Overlord like this. What do you take? Recruiter of the Guard. Sure. I'm gonna find... I think I'm gonna surveil here. I guess we attack first. I don't think you would ever Solitude a Skyclave just to kill the recruiter too, but better safe than sorry. Yoink. Do we now recruit a Witch Enchanter to blow up the Overlord. Maybe Witch Enchanter will just be on the top of my deck. No. We could recruit a 2 here. Are any of our 2s good? Recruit Felia. My opponent has 7 cards in hand. The likelihood that they're going to be able to kill is kind of high. Also, we don't necessarily want to tap out against opposing Felia. I think we just recruit Witch Enchanter, honestly. Might be a little bit too reactive. I think it's fine. I wonder if I should have recruited Witch Enchanter to Skyclave the first time. I didn't even think about that. Definitely not familiar with Overlord play patterns. Sure. Buys back a Felia or a Skyclave. Buys back a Felia, sure. Solitude did not have to move to discard, sure. Solitude also just bricks my entire offense. Because they just Solitude the Skyclave. But we'd also put a lot of pressure on them if we can just pick up Yorion at some point this game. I don't want a Thoughtseize here. I think I do just because it fits into the mana curve pretty well. I guess there's an argument for if they don't have like Wisp in hand, I might wait a turn on the Yori. Like I could pick up Yori on this turn, but no, I always want a Yori on the Witch Enchanter. I guess there's no reason to not do this first, huh? And your hand is definitely lacking. I think I'm going to take these plows, some of these plows, so he has to spend 2 cards. At least, killing my stuff. Debating between casting Recruiter or like Wasteland Caracas plus Felia. Wasteland Caracas plus Felia would be pretty fine for me because we could pick up Yorion on our turn. Pick up Yorion and have Plow for Felia, but it looks like he's just casting a Recruiter for something. Recruit. Is he playing like the Yoshiwara one and I'm just gonna get wrecked by Plague Engineer? God damn it. Maybe that's the reason I would have picked up Yorion instead of casting Witch Enchanter this turn. And just send all. If he double blocks, we just cast Solitude. I think we'd rather cast a Solitude on the Engineer here. Keeps more pressure in play. attack. What could go wrong? I just didn't pick up Yorion and I have exactly 5 mana up. I don't have anything. So we're just going to Solitude the Engineer, attack with both. If he decides to double block one, we can cast the other Solitude. If he doesn't block, which is more likely, then we just play Vile, pick up Yorion, I guess. Maybe I actually cast Plow here. No, I'm a little scared of getting Wastelanded. Like Wasteland plus Felia next turn or something, specifically. So I'd rather cast my 5 mana spell. Also, again, puts more power into play. He feels pretty I think he's pretty incentivized to like want to Wasteland Karakas plus Felia here. Are D&D mirrors better than or worse than Rogue or GT days? Feels like I haven't played one in a long time, but I think they're better now. I almost want to path my own thing. I'm gonna fucking die. I guess we just path the Overlord. Never mind. I haven't played an Overlord. I think this is my first Overlord D&T mirror ever. I'm gonna just plow something. Makes sense. Plow Solitude. Draw a land, we can just Yorion both these creatures, and even if you pitch cast Solitude to kill one, the other always kills Overlord. He could, like, Skyclave here. Worst case, like, if he Skyclaves Witch Enchanter, we still have, like, Path for Overlord, too. Yeah. We are kind of getting ground the fuck out here, though, huh? Oh, that's a good draw. Have to be worried about an opposing Yorion, because our Yorion has gotten worse. Especially because I'm going to path this Overlord and give him more mana to cast his hardcast his Solitude. What am I recruiting? Maybe just recruit like Stoneforge? Stoneforge for Formal Wear, Formal back the Recruiter, and just like try to like go all in on my Yorion here. Presuming that we're gonna, you know, hit a land drop at some point. Does that mean do I ascend this? I'm not sure I want to make this trade. I think I just want more stuff on my own battlefield. I guess if I path and then he trades, I have a 4/4 that like also pressures the Solitude because it just starts attacking. I think I do want to just Tell him to. I'm the D&D expert. I can see Tender's head. You're already dead. Please concede. How crazy BM would that be? Because the awkward thing about getting Stoneforge here is it's like super mana inefficient. But I don't have anything else good to get. Like, I think we do just get Stoneforge. We'd rip at the land that it's extremely good. Kept on top, I don't love that. What do you keep on top here? More removal spells? Containment Priest? Recruiter of the Guard? I guess, yeah, probably that. Oh god, he's gonna Stoneforge. Oh, do you Stoneforge for Sash here to beat mine, or do you just try to get your own Formula engine going? Want Emperor Bones in these spots? Yeah, that was the other thing I mentioned. When I added the Fairy Macabre, I was like, I also kind of wanted one copy of Emperor Bones in my deck. You probably cut the third Phantom or the third Bowmaster for it. Just getting Skyclave? Interesting. Land? No. Skyclave. I guess, was that the only option? Oh, I just assumed there was other stuff in there. I guess we're pretty alive then, if that was the only thing that could happen to me. We just want to rip a land so we can cast Formula and put in Cauldron. I think I attack to offer the trade. Yeah, because then I get a 3/3. Yeah. I'm not blocking him at 31. I should have done this, you know, attack first, cast my spells and main 2. But... I feel like you have to block. Could get absolutely bodied by this Cauldron if he doesn't. But blocking is kind of scary. Because then you just give me a 3/3. He also doesn't know about this Cauldron, notably. Secret Cauldron lethal. We are attacking for lethal this turn, technically speaking, but I mean, he obviously has a Solitude in hand. This just feels like a hard cast Solitude turn. I really need to hit a land in these next 2 draw steps so I can Yorion before he does. If I don't draw the land, what do I do? Formal Wear at 2? Formal Wear for Recruiter for Felia, maybe? Well, maybe we'll just rip the land, it'll be fine. God damn it. That's like a land, right? I think I just send the solution token. See what happens. I can't even Formula Recruiter for a land because I've used both of my lands. Really wanted to get the Cauldron and the Formula and play this turn. I think I just want more stuff to flicker with Yorion. Alright, let's attack. Maybe I just go get another Stoneforge for Phantom Blade with 2 Stoneforges in play. That might actually be okay. I'm gonna get got when he has fucking Lion Sash in his hand, just fucking obliterated here. I almost want to play around it. Like, wait until he casts the Solitude. I don't think I can afford to do that. I think I just need meat in play. No reason to main phase the Stoneforge activation. Well, if I want to get back Recruiter and cast a second Stoneforge for Phantom Blade, then yeah, I want to main phase the Stoneforge activation. If I want to cast my thing off the Recruiter of the Guard. Which I do, especially if I want Yorion. But 2 Stoneforges in play isn't super good. With Yorion specifically, could get Bowmaster, could get Felia and just pressure the Solitude a lot, and then like not cast it, and then have the Vial on 2 to just pressure the Solitude further. Ugh. Get Bowmasters, just try to fucking kill. Oh, no, I think I boarded out. No, I think I still have some of the Bowmasters in. I could just wait and make my decision based on what he does. Maybe that's the choice I want to make. EOT Cauldra. Oh, that's interesting. Force of Solid Formula Recruiter Flicker was. Well, the Vial's on 2 at that point. But I think I like waiting and having the option potentially. That's hard. That turn's hard. I'd have to draw a land to like Formula Recruit Flicker Wisp. Anyway. I could also just end step Formula Recruit Flicker Wisp and just fucking cast it next turn or something, but I can also kind of wait and see. What are you holding Vial for? Info or just forgot? At that point it was because I was thinking so long about using all my mana that turn. But once I decided to pass the turn, I could just play Vial, yeah. I don't suspect it will be relevant this game, but it could be. Didn't cast Solitude is really suspicious to me. Maybe he does have Sash. I mean, the Cauldra is gonna call him on it. He could, like, put in Sash. Recruiter. What if he just gets, like, Fairy Macabre and just blows me the fuck out? Then I just put in Cauldra and punch him. Ugh. I could always just cast the Felia here, too, huh? Like, I could recruit Felia here and cast it. I do know he has Solitude, but force him to pitch cast when he doesn't have Yorion in hand yet. Could be interesting. And then I untap and I just have, like, Cauldra after he has to Solitude the gets its own Felia. What is going on here? What are you holding up, opponent? I almost just want to get Bowmaster here. Bowmaster the Recruiter. Is that lethal? This pitch cast Solitude, block here, take. That is lethal, right? Oh no, because he could cast Felia and chump block. Never mind, or not chump block. It would just block. Let's just get our own Felia. Try to bury him. Maybe I was supposed to get a removal spell for this Felia, but. Oh shit, that's great. leaves in the deck. You could haste your Felia. Genius. What do you Solitude here, opponent? What happens when my Cauldron gets Solituded? What do I do? Just send... I think I just send a team Flicker the Cauldron. Can't even double block. Yeah, you can't double block the Felia. You'd have to like flash in Felia and trade and then like jump or something. Just lets me attack, huh? Interesting. Do I just flicker the Stoneforge now? I like don't want to take pressure off the board. Flicker Stoneforge just gets me the removal spell thing, and it also just is still just a bunch of damage. I think I'm fine doing this. I think it's also kind of a little bit garbage time, and I need to make my choices fast for the game 3. Solitude Page Plow, interesting. I think he's banking on this failure to try to drag himself back into this game. Just like chump, but like chump cast failure doesn't even work. I guess we could also get Sash. That's fun. We also have Plow for this Felia, so it just does not matter. It's just super dead. Yeah, for the Rubbins. We could also just Sash whatever the Formal War targets. We were pretty fine there. Ugh, hard game. Game 3 time, huh? Take a little bit of a breather. Game 3 on the draw. Maybe Bowmaster is good, huh? Being able to pick off the 1 toughness things is kind of important, but I think it's your worst card in the deck in this post-board configuration. Kind of find that Macabre would kind of good. Yeah, it's just like you never actually want to spend a card like getting Fairy Macabre to like just try to counter pre-war Formal War specifically. I can't think of a card that I want in my deck less than this 3rd copy of Bowmaster, so I think it's fine. Just have the 1x at the perfect time and no other time. Do I keep this? Am I a coward today? It's a combo. It's really bad if my opponent has. How can you resist? We built the deck for... I don't know if we built the deck for this specifically. I don't like that this card has no way to interact with my opponent if he has the nuts. I think this hand is like actually reasonable for the mirror. Maybe reasonable. I do hate, like I said, Mulliganing in the mirror does kind of suck. I did mulligan and win that game too, I think. Mulliganing in the mirror is kind of awful. I think mulliganing is kind of broken though. His hand's not very broken. At least it has like some semblance of interaction. I think this hand's probably better than the 7 was. Not by like a huge margin. It was more keepable than I maybe want to admit. We definitely need interaction for a fucking Felia. I want to see a card on top. Play tap Shadowy Backstreet and say go. Thoughtseize me? Alright, cool. That means no scary 2s. And it unfortunately means that my Overlord of the Balemerk is dying. Which is rather unfortunate. Do I play around Bowmaster? Or we just slam Sash? Just windmill slam it. Good thing we didn't keep that 7, huh? We should get the god Thoughtseized. Just instantly fucking lose. These lands need to get out of my fucking hand. I think I'm casting Sash. There's something to be said about like having my spells matter more, like because I'm so flooded that I want to make sure that my spells convert a little bit more favorably and don't just die to like Bowmaster or whatever. But there's also something to be said of hang on, I lost my train of thought on why I cast that Lion Sash that turn. We can attack here. Leave up 1? Is there a reason to leave up 1? There isn't. Oh, no, there is. I have a Sword Splash as my hand. My opponent's Felia mana. Duh. I was trying to think of, like, ways that he mills and then casts Formalware in the same turn, but that would be 5 mana. But yeah, literally. I guess play tap Shadowy Backstreet and then flip a creature and then cast Formalware. What I was getting at before I got totally sidetracked is that Lion Sash is, like, just an incredibly mana-hungry card. My opponent doesn't have, like, a ton of ways to actually like punish me for playing it proactively. And if my opponent does like just cast a Bowmaster that turn, it's instead of developing something much scarier like that I don't have interaction for at the time, like, you know, holding up mana for Felia, casting Stoneforge Mystic, stuff like that. It just grabs Felia. I guess the thing is removal for my Sash then. Plow here, right? No. What's our best draw? Recruiter? Probably. Certainly not Flicker Wisp. I have the sneaking suspicion that my Lion Sash is not going to live, so I think I add Yorion to my hand here. Shocked. Kind of concerning that he tutored Felia. I feel like Flicker Your Land is better there. I thought about it. I then looked up at my opponent's lands and I'm like, oh, I don't actually have the option to flicker my Surveil land this turn if my opponent doesn't tap this Wasteland, so it does get a little awkward. Maybe that was my window. But we could also potentially conserve the Flicker Wisp for more value down the road and just not cast it yet at all. I don't even think I want to Thoughtseize, honestly. rather like Thoughtseize a Yorion. Oh shit. No, you want to cast this on upkeep, player on second Philia. Thoughtseize me? Sad. That is one reason to not add Yorion in my hand, but my opponent had also gone through 2 Thoughtseizes, so. When there's no like active vial ticking up or whatever, it's a little dangerous. And the shoe's on the other foot now. Wasteland's tapped, which means we could Wisp back straight here. Ooh, shit. My opponent only has 2 cards in hand. I think now we might sit on the... What do we get here? Felia? Opponent only has 2 cards in hand. And if they kill the Felia, then we have Wisp for Recruiter. Maybe that's the play. Kind of awkward that we can't really attack. We just have to like Suicide Felia into a Sash, though. Could you get Stoneforge? Stoneforge for Cauldra? If they have a removal spell for Stoneforge, Cauldra is dead. Maybe we Stoneforge for Blade? Blade the Sash. Blade Sash, Whisper Recruiter, something like that. I don't like Felia here into the thing that I can't attack into. Although it's not infinite value. You don't necessarily need infinite value. Did be cognizant of my clock as well, but so does he. Plow? Oh, no, yeah. Forgot that there's a fucking Lion Sash in play, huh? The Thoughtseize puts a lot of pressure on when my opponent can add Yorion to hand, at least, which is good for me. Opponent knows my entire hand. I know none of theirs currently. At some point I should stop sitting on this Thoughtseize, though, because I do want it to convert for something, but... Yorion is like more threatening than most cards my opponent would have in their hand at this stage of the game. Skyclave my Stoneforge. Makes sense. Then Wasteland me. Hope I don't draw a land. This all adds up. We didn't draw a land, but we did get to Flicker Wisp our Recruiter the guard. I don't really want to path this Lion Sash very much. Because I don't want to give my opponent lands, really, but... Is now the Felia turn? Could be another Stoneforge now. My opponent only has 2 cards in hand. I should play fast. It might be Thoughtseize next turn now. Thoughtseize into Felia. Plague Engineer. Ouch. Oh, this is extremely good for me. This worth taking the bait on. Not taking the bait, but worth giving them the land. Because I get to clean up so much of their shit. Do we Thoughtseize now? I don't think I... Maybe we don't. Maybe we just go for the Felia into Phantom Blade. Should be cognizant of my clock, but we're still up a minute, so we're okay. This kinda gets ugly if he has Solitude. But it's still kind of fine, honestly. Well... I guess this has flash, though, so maybe I'm supposed to cast a Blade. Yeah, Solitude of your own. But then you just have to block. But yeah, I should have cast the Blade. Also, I don't know, wouldn't give the Felia Menace, could blink it, but yeah. I still feel pretty far ahead here. Maybe pretty far as a stretch, huh? If we draw a land, we can force the issue on... Oh, it's just Stoneforge. Sure. I think he's just going to time out. He just Thoughtseize. Formalware for Sash? I'm just thinking about if I die to this Lion Sash. I don't think I really do. In 2 minutes. I think it's way too many clicks. I think we just time him out. Oh, I guess you form more back the Stoneforge. But then we just Thoughtseize the Cultra. And we're still okay. Sure. Does have the Phantom, notably, for my Caracas to get the Felia online, but there's no way. He's super gonna time out. Oh, I don't have any more lands! Wow, wrecked. Is this lethal? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? No, he needs to go through 2 combat steps. Oh, he's so over. Casting a spell that costs so many clicks? Alright, we did it. Doesn't have time to be casting spells, yeah. The clock always wins the D&T mirror. Very close. Yeah, I mean, we died that game, but also I think I made some less than proper choices towards the end there once we shifted into the timing out gears. So yeah, if we just like cast Blade that turn, it's like the objectively much better play than he has like no board. I also maybe think that the proper play is just like go to combat. attack with Felia target Recruiter with the hold Solitude up, because we think that we're going to get Solituded, and then the Recruiter gets Solituded, and then we Solitude the Solitude, so that the Felia continues to live. But I also think we probably just don't even grab the Felia. I can't even play another game after that. I'm going to bed. GG's. Welcome to the D&T mirror. You gotta lock in. As soon as your opponent reveals Yorion, you gotta sit up in your chair and just go to town. We might have timed out making the correct plays. That's true, yeah. I mean, that's why we shifted gears so early on. We just started, you just start making choices and hoping that they're faster than your opponents. Oh no, we're in the Eureka bracket still. Eureka, if you're in chat, fuck off. Get out of here. I don't want to play. I don't want to play against Eureka. Purely from the clicks. Oh, I'm still having a Felia? Yeah, maybe. Especially Felia flickering Phantom Blade. You gotta click on that fucking shit so many times. Ah, oh, damn it. It's always the last round. He always, kicks me out of the 3-1, too. Do I even, fucking mulligan? Just never beating Storm. This doesn't do anything. None of my hands do anything. I guess we mold a Thoughtseize, right? We hit the mulligan button at least once trying to find. Yeah, Thoughtseize, Stoneforge, Bowmasters. These cards are wait. This hand's acceptable. It's not good, but Wasteland. I don't think Wasteland Bowmaster is real. I guess kinda real is satisfactory. Maybe we bottom Solitude instead of fourth land, considering we're gonna Wasteland. If he's on Saga Storm. If he's on Saga Storm, we're on the draw. We're just gonna fucking die. We're just gonna lose. We're not gonna cast a 2-drop. What is this? What is this shit? Basic Island Preordains? He just playing Ant? We draw Thoughtseize. Close. Well, I can't Wasteland, so we'll Surveil. Maybe we find Thoughtseize. We get Thoughtseize Wasteland. Maybe he's playing a fair deck. Yeah, he's just on Delver. This is a classic Delver start. Fetch Basic Island, Preordain, turn 2 Brainstorm with double Pluto Delta. Yep. You know, still could be Delver. Just fair enough. Not actually dead. Only mostly dead. Yeah, maybe he'll die to the One Ring. Famous thing that happens. Get out of here, Solitude. This Philly doesn't do anything. I mean, I'm just gonna fucking put Cauldra in my hand and then die. We could pretend that... Actually, is Formlore gonna be better here? It might be. Like, not by a lot. Maybe it's not even better than Cauldra. Not actually sure. Is it dumb for me to say D&T could play Revoker? You could. It's like not thrilling. Like if you're playing Revoker for the One Ring, could you just play Spirit Labyrinth? Revoker's a little bit better, a lot better versus like, you know, Nadu, but Revoker has the problem of it's really bad. I mean, I guess we just fucking wasteland him, huh? The problem is that Revoker isn't actually like good versus the One Ring decks because the One Ring decks are Moonstompy and they just kill your thing and then keep going. Tameo cover, but then we're talking about like Spirited Labyrinth again. We do 1 extra damage. No, it's -1 damage because we're actually tapping Stoneforge. So we just send it, hold up Felio. I guess we missed out. Like, this is a lot less damage than Cauldron would have been. You actually can't tap the One Ring twice. I don't know if that really matters. I see. Fair enough. Wait, main deck? It's like a little weird. I'll believe him. I don't want to play. It's got like 12 cards in hand. We're dead. It's the Forcible Storm deck. You say that like it's like, oh yeah, that one. That deck I totally forgot about. Like, is he playing graveyard card? My guess would be no graveyard cards, and that's like the exploitation factor. Is that like you go around all like the leyline stuff that's happening? Yeah, Cabal Ritual doesn't count as graveyard stuff. If it still has like Beseech Will, then like maybe you just board in Leyline Cage because it's better than Plow Solitude because Plow Solitude has literal 0 text. Oh, I guess Wrath of this guy's comes in, huh? It's gonna blow up like petals and shit. We have 4 cards to board in, huh? I guess that makes sense. Beseech with the One Ring. White Orchid Phantom also kind of fucking sucks here. They have 2 basics. This deck is not really bad. How did Harain win? This deck just does not build to beat. Even if he's playing like Yoshiwada's list that has like 3 Deafening Silence or whatever. You just don't have cards in your deck that matter. Mold to triple Thoughtseize. Fair enough. I mean, I think Graveyard Hits just has to be better. But it's not very good. Do we just put in like 2 ley lines? Fuck it. None of these cards are good! They're all bad! These cards are all horrible! My hand is full of terrible cards for Storm. I guess Leyline's probably better than the Cage. Time to put Flute to the test. I don't even know what I'm supposed to name with this stupid thing. Just like blind name Beseech and he casts the One Ring and then we Felia flicker the Flute onto the One Ring? Name his good card? Does he have any? But like we don't have anything to mulligan to is the thing. We have like, what, 1 trap, 1 Deafening Silence? Cut to me 2 hours ago when we were getting ready for the prelim, and I'm like, oh, Eureka's not in the prelim. Let me cut this Mindbreak trap. Name a different... Yeah, exactly. Keep him guessing. You mold it. Yeah, this hand sucks, but, like, I don't know what I'm mulling to. All of my hands suck, is the thing. Unless I draw, like, the 1 Mindbreak trap or the 1 Deafening Silence. Disruptor Flute's, like, my 3rd best card in the deck. Oh, yeah, Thoughtseize. That's fair. Okay, we do have Thoughtseize. We'll mulligan to at least 6 looking for better cards. Oh, this hand is just completely non-functional trash. Actually, I mean, I guess that's a bad way to describe it. Because it is very functional. Very non-functional versus Storm. I hate everything. Do we just concede and go to bed? Chat, do we just give him this? Do we just give him this? 4? Chat chanting 4. 1 more mulligan. Alright. Let's go to bed. 3. Fair enough. Time value, I get it. Yeah, it's time for bed. 80 cards, by the way. I mean, that's the problem, is that when you don't have any good cards to mulligan to, it's a little harder to mulligan to them. That's payback for going to time and shit making me sleepy. Why do we always play round 4? Can we just play like round 1 one of these times? You always have to like dream crush me out of the 3-1. Can we stop playing in very specifically round 4? I beat ever on a 2-0 and then you beat me. Yeah, exactly. So who's the best player? If you beat me, he beats you, and I beat him. What do you play this week at local? You have red, white, and black, white. I think I would play black, white right now. I think Overlord's really, really good. Unless your local has like a bunch of random bullshit that you think red, white's better against. You're both playing D&T, so you win by default. But you lost. You have a 50% win rate against D&T. You lost to a D&T player. Like, doesn't that just make you like way worse than us? The only thing worse than a D&T player is someone who loses to a D&T player. It has a bunch of fair painter. That sounds like a good place for Overlord then. Overlord's like really, really busted in the fair matchups. As long as you respect Delver. Play some like cheap removal spells in the sideboard so you don't just get Delvered out. Oh, I see. Because he's a Casino Storm player. And so he just had the luck sack casino draw of triple Thoughtseize. It all makes sense. Red version having bombers is real. Yeah, the red version is also real sweet. No hate towards people that want to play Red Splash. I was a huge Red Splash fan pre-ban as well, but Johnny Bombardier is sweet, but Overlord Philly is also sweet. It's tough. It's tough out there. Maybe it's not tough. Maybe it's the opposite tough. Maybe we just have an embarrassment of riches. Like, we have 2 cool D&T decks, and then we also have Mono White for people that want to play that. You have, yeah, I guess, yeah, if you have, Delver experience that would, is tried and true, and definitely, even after, like, 3 years. I guess now that they're off, like, the frog stuff, they are really back to, like, the Delver of 3 or 4 years ago with just, a bunch of aggressive flying threats and, like, try to protect the queen, bolt you down. Stuff like that. So that muscle memory definitely kicks in. I never actually got to rebuilding this sideboard the way I wanted to. But there's a chance you want to, like, reconfigure this stuff. I don't know exactly how. I think the one fairy is good because there is just, like, way too much blue-black reanimator to not respect it at least a tiny bit. Like, the one fairy to be able to, for the recruiter bullet, I think is pretty important for that matchup. Regardless of the fact that it's unfortunately just, like, extremely non-functional against oops all spells. That's my only strong opinion about how to build this sideboard right now. I think the rest of this stuff wants to be a mixture of Leyline or Cage, Trap or Deafening Silence, and, like, Nadu hate cards, which I guess is this whole sideboard right now, right? Leyline, Cage, Nadu cards, kind of. Hey, get off the screen, Rathless, guys. I was trying to do a little debrief. Get out of here. Alright, well, this isn't helping. Rathless, guys, is here to stay. But Graveyard Hate, Nadu stuff, kind of Storm. You do want, I think, some number of, like, Deafening Silence, Mind Reader Trap shaped cards that help a little bit in, like, Oops, random Storm players, like, Forge deck, stuff like that. But I'll leave the rebuilding of this sideboard, the theory crafting, to maybe another time. Ley lines I haven't been, like, the most happy with, and, like, maybe you're just supposed to take a little bit more of an L to Oops all spells in favor of, like, trying to support the Reanimator matchup a little bit more, stuff like that. I'm gonna put 2 Sarah Avengers and Black White to report back, maybe a Mirren Crusader. Godspeed. Godspeed to you, truly. You're better than the rest of us. I miss Sarah Avenger. Oh, wait, shit, hang on. Before everyone leaves, everyone that's dispersing, because... Oh, wait, hang on, no, I lied. I don't have the codes for this week yet. I don't have the... I was about to do the Playpoint giveaway, but we actually... the guy that gives out the Playpoints is on vacation right now, so I don't think we've gotten ours for the month yet. So no Playpoint giveaway this week, sorry. We'll do 2 next week, because I'm also going to be gone the week after that. We'll do 2 Playpoint giveaways next week to celebrate the Aether Drift cards. Let's go find someone to raid. Who's streaming? Let's go raid System Magic. I haven't raided them in a while. They were often on after me, but I haven't seen them. I guess I've been raiding Everon a bunch, because he's usually streaming after me, but this time we put him to sleep with the D&T mirror. Anyway, catch y'all next week. We'll be back. We'll probably try the Ketramos pile that I showed off last week, the Chrome Mox Overlord Felia stuff. I'm excited to try that out. See if Ketramos is disappointing or if it's actually a playable card. We'll see. See y'all then.